First Chronicles 17. The Lord's message to David. Soon after David moved into his new palace, he said to Nathan the prophet, "Look around. I live in a palace made of cedar, but the sacred chest is kept in a tent." Nathan replied, "The Lord is with you, the one you want." That night, the Lord told Nathan to go to David and tell him, "David, you're my servant, so listen carefully. You're not the one to build a temple for me. I didn't live in a temple when I brought my people out of Egypt, and I don't live in one now. A tent has always been my home wherever I have gone with them. I chose special leaders and told them to be like shepherds for my people Israel. But did I ever say anything to even one of them about building of cedar temple for me? David, this is what the Lord all-powerful, say to you. I brought you in from the field where you took care of sheep, and I made you the leader of my people. Wherever you went, I helped you and destroyed your enemies right in front of your eyes. I have made you one of the most famous people in the world. I have given my people Israel a land of their own where they can live in peace. They will no longer have to tremble with fear. Evil nations want to bother them as they did when I let judges rule my people, and I will keep your enemies from attacking you. Now I promise that like you, your descendants will be kings. I will choose one of your sons to be king when you reach the end of your life and are buried beside your ancestors. I will make him a strong ruler, and no one will be able to take his kingdom away from him. He will be the one to build a temple for me. I will be like a father to him, and he will be like a son to me. I will never put an end to my agreement with him, as I put an end to my agreement with Saul, who was king before you. I will make sure that your son and his descendants will rule my people and my kingdom forever." Nathan told David exactly what the Lord had said. David gives thanks to the Lord. David went into the tent he had set up for the sacred chest. He sat there and prayed, "Lord God, my family, I don't deserve the one you have already done for us, and yet you have promised to do even more for my descendants. You are treating me as if I am a very important person. I am your servant, and you know my thought. What else can I say except that you have honored me? It was your choice to do these wonderful things for me and to make these promises. No other God is like you. Lord, you alone are God. Everything we have heard about you is true. And there is no other nation on earth like Israel. The nation you rescued from slavery in Egypt to be your own. You became famous by using great and wonderful miracles to force other nations and their gods out of your land, so that your people could live here. You have chosen Israel to be your people forever, and you have become their God. Lord God, please do what you promised me and my descendants. Then you'll be famous forever, and everyone will say, the Lord all-powerful rules Israel, and He is their God. My kingdom will be strong because you are my God, and you have promised that my descendants will be kings. That's why I have the courage to pray to you like this. Even though I am only your servant, you are the Lord God, and you have made this good promise to me. Now please bless my descendants forever, and let them always be your chosen kings. You have already blessed my family, and I know you will bless us forever. Arrest, 1 Chronicles 18. A list of David's victories in war. Later, David attacked and defeated the Philistines. He captured their town of Gath and the nearby villages. David also defeated the Moabites, and so they had to accept him as their ruler and pay taxes to him. While King Hadadezer of Joab was trying to gain control of the territory near the Euphrates River, David met him in battle and Hamas and defeated him. David captured 1,000 chariots, 7,000 chariot drivers, and 20,000 soldiers, and he crippled all but 100 of the horses and troops from the Syrian kingdom of Damascus came to help Hadadezer. David killed 22,000 of them. Then David stationed some of his troops in Damascus, and the people there had to accept David as their ruler and pay taxes to him. Everywhere David went, the Lord helped him win battles. Hadadezer's officers had carried gold shield, but David took this shield and brought them back to Jerusalem. He also took a lot of bronze from the cities of Tibhath and Kun, which had belonged to Hadadezer. Later, Solomon used this bronze to make the large bowl called the sea, and to make the pillars, other furnishings for the temple. King Tou of Hamas and King Hadadezer had been enemies. So when Tou heard that David had defeated Hadadezer's whole army, he sent his son Hadram to congratulate David on his victory. Adoram also brought to him gift made of gold, silver, and bronze. David gave this gift to the Lord, just as he had done with silver and gold he had captured from Edom, Moab, Ammon, Palestine, and Amalek. Abishai, the son of Zeruiah, defeated the Edomite army in Salt Valley and killed 18,000 of their troops. Then he stationed troops in Edom, and the people there had to accept David as their ruler. Everywhere David went, the Lord gave him victory in war. A list of David's officers. David ruled all Israel with fairness and justice. Joab, the son of Zeruiah, was the commander-in-chief of the army. Jehoshaphat, the son of Ahilud, kept the government records. Zadok, the son of Ahitub, and Ahimelech, the son of Abiathar, were the priests. Shabshah was the secretary. Bianiah, the son of Jehoiada, was the commander of David's bodyguard. David's sons were his highest-ranking officers. 19. Israel fight Ammon and Syria. Some time later, King Nahash of Ammon died, and his son Hanun became king. David said, Nahash was kind to me, so I will be kind to his son. He sent some officers to Ammon to tell Hanun how sorry he was that his father had died. But when David's officers arrived at Ammon, the Ammonite leaders said to Hanun, "Do you really believe King David is honoring your father by sending this man to comfort you? He probably sent them to spy on your country, on our country, so he can come and destroy it." Hanun arrested David's officers and had their beards shaved off and their loves cut off just below the waist. And then he sent them away. They were terribly ashamed. When David found out what had happened to his officers, he sent a message that told them, "Stay in Jericho until your beard grows back. Then you can come home." The Ammonites realized they had made David furious, so they paid 34 tons of silver to hire chariot troops from Mesopotamia and from the Syrian kingdoms of Makkah and Jobab, 32,000 troops, as well as the king of Makkah and his army came and camped near Medeba. The Ammonite troops also left their towns and came to prepare for battle. David heard what is happening? And he sent out Joab with his army. The Ammonite troops marched to the entrance of the city and prepared for battle, while the Syrian troops took their positions in the open field. Joab saw that the enemy troops were lined up on both sides of him. So he picked some of the best Israeli soldiers to fight the Syrians. Then he put his brother Abishai in command of the rest of the army and told them to fight against the Ammonites. Joab told his brother, if the Syrians are too much for me to handle, come and help me. And if the Ammonites are too strong for you, I will come and help you. Be brave and fight hard to protect our people and the towns of our Lord God. I pray he will do whatever pleased him. Joab and his soldiers attacked the Syrians, and the Syrians ran from them. When the Ammonite troops saw that the Syrians had run away, they ran from Abishai's soldiers and went back into their own city. Joab then returned to Jerusalem. As soon as the Syrians realized they had been defeated, they sent for their troops that were stationed on the other side of the Euphrates River. Shobhak, the commander of Hadadezer's army, led these troops to Ammon. David found out what the Syrians were doing, and he brought Israel's entire army together. They crossed the Jordan River, and he commanded them to take their positions facing the Syrian troops. Soon after, the fighting began. The Syrians ran from Israel. They killed 7,000 carrier troops and 40,000 regular soldiers. He also killed Shobhak, their commander, when the kings who had been under Hadadezer's rule saw that Israel had defeated them. They made peace with David and accepted him as their new ruler. The Syrians never had the Ammonites again. First Chronicles 20. The end of the war with Ammon. The next spring, the time when kings go to war, Joab marched out in command of the Israeli army and destroyed the towns all over the country of Ammon. He attacked the capital city of Rabbah and left it in ruins. But David stayed in Jerusalem. Later, David himself went to Rabbah, where he took the crown from the statue of their god Milcom. The crown was made of about 34 kilograms of gold, and there was a valuable jewel on it. David put the jewel on his crown, then carried off everything else of value. He forced the people of Rabbah to work with saws, iron picks, and axes. He also did the same thing with the people in all the other Ammonite towns. David then led Israel's army back to Jerusalem. The descendants of the Rephaim. Sometime later, Israel fought a battle against the Palestine of Gaza. During this battle, Sibbecai from Hushah killed Sippai, a descendant of Rephaim, and the Palestine were defeated. In another battle against the Palestine, Haman, the son of Jair, killed Rami, the brother of Goliath from Gad, whose spear shaft was like a weaver's beam. Another one of the Palestine soldiers was the descendant of Rephaim, was as big as a giant and had 6 fingers on each hand and 6 toes on each foot. During the battle at Gad, he made fun of Israel, so David's nephew Jonathan killed him. David and his soldiers killed these 3 men from Gad who were descendants of the Rephaim. 1 Chronicles 21. David counts the people. Satan decided to cause trouble for Israel by making David think it was a good idea to find out how many people there were in Israel and Judah. David told Joab and the army commanders, count everyone in Israel from the town of Beersheba in the south all the way north to Dan. Now we know how many people can serve in my army. Joab answered, Your Majesty, even if the Lord made your kingdom 100 times larger, you would still rule everyone in it. Why do you need to know how many soldiers there are? Don't you think that would make the whole nation angry? But David would not change his mind. And so Joab went everywhere in Israel and Judah and counted the people. He returned to Jerusalem and told David that the total number of men who count serving the army was 1,100,000 in Israel and 4,700,000 in Judah. Joab refused to include anyone from the tribe of Levi and Benjamin because he still disagreed with David's orders. God punished Israel. David's order to count the people made God angry, and he punished Israel. David prayed, I am your servant, but what I did was stupid and terribly wrong. Please forgive me. The Lord said to God, one of David's prophets tell David that I will punish him in one of 3 ways, but you will have to choose which one it will be. God went to David and told him, you must choose how the Lord will punish you. Will there be 3 years when the land won't grow enough food for each people? Or will your enemies constantly defeat you for 3 months? Or will the Lord send a horrible disease to strike your land for 3 days? Think about it and decide, because I have to give your answer to God who sent me. David was miserable and sad. It's a terrible choice to make, but the Lord is kind, and I'd rather be punished by him than by anyone else. So the Lord sent a horrible disease on Israel, and 70,000 Israelites died. Then he sent an angel to destroy the city of Jerusalem. But just as the angel was about to do that, the Lord felt sorry for all the suffering he had caused the people, and he told the angel, stop, they have suffered enough. This happened at the dressing place that belonged to Araunah the Jebusite. David saw the Lord angel in the air holding a sword over Jerusalem. He and the leaders of Israel, who were all wearing sackcloth, bowed with their faces to the ground. And David prayed, it's my fault. I sinned by ordering the people to be counted. They have done nothing wrong. They are innocent sheep. Lord God, please punish me and my family. Don't let the disease wipe out your people. David buys Araunah's dressing place. The Lord angel told the prophet God to tell David that he must go to Araunah's dressing palace and build an altar in honor of the Lord. David followed the Lord's instructions. Araunah and his 4 sons were dressing wheat at the time, and when they saw the angel, the 4 sons ran to hide. Just then, David arrived, and when Araunah saw him, he stopped his work and bowed down. David said, would you sell me your dressing place so I can build an altar on it to the Lord? Then this disease will stop killing the people. I am willing to pay whatever you say it's worth. Araunah answered, take it, your majesty, and do whatever you want with it. I will even give you the oxen for the sacrifice and the wheat for the grain sacrifice. And you can use the threshing boards for the fire. It's all yours. But David replied, no, I want to pay you what they are worth. I can't just take something from you and then offer the Lord a sacrifice that cost me nothing. So David paid Aranya 600 gold coins for his threshing place. David built an altar and offered sacrifice. It pleased the Lord and sacrificed to ask his blessing. David prayed, and the Lord answered him by sending fire down on the altar. Then the Lord commanded the angel to put the sword away. When David saw that the Lord had answered his prayer, he offered more sacrifices there at the threshing place, because he was afraid of the angel's sword and did not want to go all the way to Gibeon. That's where the sacred tent that Moses had made in the desert was kept, as well as the altar where sacrifices were offered to the Lord.